Welcome to the Loveland All Sports Podcast, where the land of love can get updates on not only Loveland sports, but learn and discuss many sports topics. Let's have some fun, be friendly with an open mind, be controversial yet informative. Shoot any ideas you want to lovelandallsports@gmail.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook at the Loveland Sports Guy. Loveland All Sports Pod is sponsored by Meredith DeWitt of Brittany Fritch Realty, Loveland's #1 boutique brokerage. Contact Meredith for any of your real estate needs at meredithbfteam@gmail.com. This episode, we get to know Loveland High School strength and conditioning coach Shawn McGarity. We get to talk about D1 football, his experiences and how he got to Loveland, how teenagers can build strength training the right way, and we'll have a little fun. So enjoy this conversation with Coach McGarity. Well, I'm really excited today to talk some real core topics today. Pump and I are getting swole, big legs. Welcome to the Gun Show, and here to talk with Coach Shawn McGarity, Loveland High School strength and conditioning coach. Good afternoon, Coach. How you doing?
Doing great. Appreciate you having me on here. It's an honor.
Yeah, we'll just have some fun. Don't know how much of an honor it is, but 150, 200 people get to listen to you and learn more about weightlifting today than they ever knew about it. So before we get into weightlifting, let's talk a little bit about you. So where's home? Tell me about your family.
So I'm a Cincinnati guy. I grew up in the Liberty Township area, went to Lakota East, played football, baseball, basketball up until high school, and then I was just a football guy.
Yeah.
I did specialize. Wasn't a big-time hooper. I wasn't a bad baseball player. If anything, I tell a lot of people I think I was a better baseball player than football player. Just love of the game for football was it for me. So who knows? I never really got to see curveballs, so that could change things a lot. But I was a heck of an outfielder and shortstop. But loved football. So again, I went to Lakota East, graduated in 2006, and then my freshman year, played football at Mount Union College. Now it's Mount Union University. Won a national championship, got a ring. It was just too small for me. And so I wanted to transfer. My best friend from high school, he ended up going to Oregon State out of high school. And he's like, hey man, why don't you look into transferring out here? And I was like, okay. And so I just kind of took that leap of faith, went out there. Once I got out there, introduced myself to the coaches, was going to have to try out in the winter. They had some injuries my first year there. They called me up. I remember being home in Cincinnati during the summer, and they're like, hey, we actually have some injuries. We can bring you on after the first game. Just be a scout team guy. I was like, heck yeah. I think I was going to be like in 4 days. My parents booked me a flight. Off I go. Made my mark that season. Didn't have to try out, and kind of the rest was history.
That's
being
awesome.
Out there. So I was the guy that I really had to work for that. Hence why I love the strength conditioning thing, because I molded who I was physically and mentally in the weight room, and always loved just training. And so that's kind of how I got into that side of things.
I'm sure the orange and black helps. I mean, you got the orange and black of Loveland is awesome, but then you're able, and the Bengals too, being a Cincinnati guy, but then you're able to say, I've been around that most of my life.
I remember when I got this job, Rich, gave me a handful of shirts, and he's like, you don't need any shorts. You can just wear some of your Oregon State stuff.
Right,
and so it works out well with that.
What about OSU? I mean, when you hear OSU here as much as we do, it's different for you.
So at first, being from Cincinnati, I heard OSU, think Ohio State. But once I get out there, I hear OSU. I think we're a top 25 team every year. And then my last 2 seasons there, the Civil War against Oregon, basically winner went to the Rose Bowl. And I remember, I think it was the 2008 season, already kind of going into that, we knew Ohio State was going to be the Big Ten champion. And I was really wanting to play Ohio State.
Oh, that would have been great.
A lot of people from high school going to Ohio State, but we unfortunately lost both years. And so, but did make some good bowl games. We had, my first year was the Emerald Bowl. That was in San Francisco. Then we went to the Sun Bowl, which is in El Paso, Texas. That was a really cool area. And then my last year there was the Vegas Bowl, which obviously Las Vegas, which was a lot of fun. Because I was 21, could go in the casinos. Right. I remember being on the flight there. We get there about a week early, as you know it, and we're on the flight. We got about an hour left. They're like, hey, tonight's curfew is 2 a.m. We all look at each other like, what? Like, can't wait. And so that was a good experience.
Well, and it's a shame what college football's become. A lot of these schools, they think, BCS bowl or bust.
Yeah.
And especially now, there's 40 bowl games. When I played, there were like 20 something. When you played, there were probably 25 or 30. Yep. And it's like, what were you doing at 18 years old? Because I know I was at the Copper Bowl, the Independence Bowl, and the Peach Bowl, and it was an absolute blast.
Yeah, 100%.
The memories, the rings, the watches, the swag, the gifts.
And I get it. It's all about views nowadays. And, as a player, I think one of the bowl games is the best experience. And for a lot of people, I was lucky enough, my parents we could travel and could afford that. But a lot of players, they've never gotten to experience that stuff. Game one on the flight to wherever is the first time they've been on an airplane. And so, going to these different places and getting to actually spend time now at a bowl game versus just an overnight stay for an away game, they get to experience a new city they've never been to. And so I think it's really good for the players. And, but I get fans, they want to see the heavy hitters go at it in the playoffs. And so, about the mighty dollar.
Awesome. So then that led to some opportunities after college in the arena world. Talk a little bit about that.
Yep. So I got to play professional indoor arena football. So I played 2 years here in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Commandos, a lot of local guys, a lot of Bearcats. Did that for my first 2 years, then played up at Dayton Sharks, and then for my fourth year, the Northern Kentucky River Monsters.
Nice.
So I got to do that. It's a fun game. It's a pass-heavy game.
Right.
I was a receiver. And so that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, as a lineman, there was never interest in that for me because it was like, if I was a receiver, that'd be awesome. But 3-on-3, and then you're probably playing both ways a lot of times as a lineman. But yeah, those were not an interest for myself.
Yep.
But did you see this weekend was the Arena Ball Championship and it was played in a mall?
Yeah, I caught just a little bit of it. I was busy being a dad and stuff, so I didn't get to watch a ton of it. My son wanted to watch Bluey, but I got to catch just a couple of snaps and definitely missed the game. And I know a lot of people don't know it as well, but it was a good time.
So you mentioned a child. How old's your son?
So he's 16 months old.
Awesome.
He was born March of 23, so it's...
and happily married?
Happily married, yep.
Great. So how'd you end up getting to Loveland after that experience, which was just absolutely amazing?
Yeah, so it was probably 2 years in arena. So I had graduated college, was working. I was doing strength conditioning in some private facilities, D1, sports training, and DNA Sports Center. But I was really missing football, the game, coaching, something I wanted to get into. I did that my internship at Oregon State as a assistant receiver coach. So I wanted to kind of go that avenue. And so I went to my alma mater, Lakota East High School, where Rick Haynes was, and was able to get on staff there and coached 9 seasons there. Had a little break in the middle of that stint just to kind of focus on work and all that. But coaching was in my blood. It was my passion. Handled our strength conditioning there as well. Got my degree from Oregon State in exercise sports science. And so that's where my background comes from. And what ended up happening, so last June, I actually took a job down at Beechwood High School, where they're a small 2A school, but win a lot of state championships down there.
Do.
Started that job June 1st, and I get a text from Rich Bryant like, hey, I know you took a new job, but I might have this opportunity here at Loveland for you. And long story short, obviously I'm here. It was a great opportunity. I'm very appreciative of Beechwood, them trusting me and bringing me on. I felt really bad leaving, but this was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up for my family. Being an Ohio guy, it was really nice to be back in Ohio. And so, Rich Bryant offered this. Super grateful for it, and been here since August 1st of 23. And a lot of people ask me, how's everything been going? I spent 9 years at Lakota East. That's where I went to school, but I tell a lot of people I found a new home.
Good.
This is home now.
Well, a lot of people, good coaches, you have to learn to appreciate that they will leave. Mm-hmm. Because there's a next chapter for him. Just like when Andy Cruz made his decision. You can't blame him one bit.
No.
Great coaches are going to take the step up. But it's about, when I look at the strength and conditioning, I think about Coach Barry and then Coach Merkel and now yourself. And you took the great things that Merkel had. Merkel took the great things that Barry had. And now the program just keeps moving forward. So just like when you're watching professional sports or college sports, if that culture can stay and continue, even with a new coach, then that guy or gal did the right job.
100%. And I think that's the beauty of strength conditioning. And it's a little more on the college level, as you know. I mean, these athletes are around a strength coach a lot.
Yeah.
It's year round. And so I think if you can get a good guy or gal in there and they can really sell that culture piece, the athletic side of things can really shine. And so you got to get the right person, the right energy. They got to be true to who they are, I think. And that's all I try to do with how I do things is what am I good at and how can I exemplify that?
Yeah, the strength and conditioning coach at University of Findlay, Coach Wags, he's from Findlay. He played baseball at Findlay. He is going to be the strength coach until he retires. And he's been offered the head jobs at many Big Ten schools, even the Olympics, some NFL programs, but he's staying there. And he jokes and says that these are my players that I loan to the football coach 3 months a year. Yeah. And that's exactly because he's got them for 9 months. And then he's there the whole time. Yep. So it's interesting to see that excitement. So you did some football coaching and now strength and conditioning. Pros and cons of why you went this direction instead of, are they not the wide receiver coach here?
Yeah, I was at Lakota East. I was receiver coach for 6 years, coached DBs for a year, coached quarterbacks for my last 2 years. I was special teams coordinator. To be quite frank, being a head football coach was the vision, is what I wanted to do. But with the Beechwood position opening up as far as just the strength coach and then this at Loveland, it was a little bit different thought process once you have a kid. Yeah. The time that is involved, at least how I handled things, and I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm not saying it's the wrong way. I take my job very serious. I have a big passion for strength conditioning and football. I was a little obsessive. And getting the strength position, it was a little more family friendly, time friendly. And so, again, this is my passion, what I went to school for. So I don't want people to think that, you're kind of settling. No, I love both, did both. It just, life kind of leads you down a different avenue sometimes. And this was the right move. Very thankful for it again. But yeah, being a head football coach was the vision, what I was working for. And, but I also think this makes me a better strength coach, kind of having that mindset.
Absolutely, because you know what it takes to play. You know what it takes to play at the second highest level at Power 5 D1 school. And then the most important thing is work-life balance. I mean, you're working for that little guy and your wife at home. You better have it work well. It's not a work-life balance, it's a work-life mash. Yeah. Because it's with the demanding job that you have, it's going to be clouded and clustered at times. But if at the end of the week you can look back and say it's a good week, then I'm doing it for the right reasons.
And I just remember watching film on a Sunday, and I've done everything I need to do, but there's a little bit more time in the evening. I should be watching film. It's the best thing for the team, best for the thing for the kids, the athletes. And my wife's over here like, can we please just watch a show for once? Like, babe, it's fall. Right. It's fall. Here it comes. But she did a fantastic job with that, and she's been an awesome supporter.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about strength training. Yep. I played D1 college football. You played D1 college football. I've coached a ton of youth sports. I've been through the process with my older son playing D2. I've gotten so many arguments with parents about we have to move to this team to see faster pitching, or we have to go sit the bench on a better team because it's going to help him or her in the future. And my answer is get in the weight room, get on a conditioning plan, get on a meal plan. I think too many times these parents, the Facebook crowd, they want to be seen being on a better team, but they don't think about the individual kid and what they can do to improve themselves to get to the end goal of being on varsity or having a chance to play in college. What are your thoughts on that?
So again, I was a person who I completely transformed who I was physically and mentally from the weight room. Again, you see me, I'm 5'10". I played college at 178 pounds. Yes, I transformed. I was a skinny little dude. But I got to be somewhat strong, somewhat fast. But I think the level of hard work, discipline that you get from the weight room, and that transfers over to the sport stuff. I'm not saying don't play a sport. don't play multi-sports, especially at this community we talked about before this. I think that is a necessity, is doing as many different sports as you can. I think it's good for the body. I think it helps the injury prevention, really mitigation side of things. I don't know how many times being a football coach, a lot of kids don't necessarily have the best ball skills when the ball's in the air. If they would have played baseball,
right,
might have helped.
Right.
Your best punt returners, your best receivers, a lot of times are guys who played baseball, played in the outfield.
Right. Well, the body's not made to play baseball 9 months out of the year. You can't throw as much as these coaches are asking these kids to throw. You need a break.
100%. In these club teams, I think that's why we see so many injuries. You know, your baseball, your basketballs, your volleyballs, your soccers, they're doing this year round. They're doing the same thing over and over. And that's kind of the viewpoint I've taken here is I'm not training a baseball kid. I'm not training a softball kid. I'm not training a volleyball kid. I'm not training a football player. I'm training an athlete.
Yeah.
And I think having more of a general base is the most important thing for these kids, because I know they're still going to bounce around teams, do this year round. You kind of have to. I get that's how the recruiting process goes for a lot of these sports. So you got to play the game.
Yeah, I finally saw it. I've coached, 15 years of baseball between my two boys, the last few years at a higher level with Charlie. And probably about 3 weeks ago, I saw my first on-field UCL injury.
Yeah.
Kid threw the ball. Immediately the arm went down. He dropped to the ground, instant tears, came out, couldn't even pick his arm up.
Yeah.
And I just thought, we're in the 5th game of a 6-game tournament, and that kid's going to have surgery and be out for a year.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many pitches he had leading up to that.
Yeah.
So it's so important. I mean, what age, what appropriate age? Well, you're 16-month-old. Is he benching yet?
No, what's funny enough, though, is he knows what squats are.
Yeah.
Didn't even really teach him that, to be honest. So I got a nice little garage gym. And so, my wife, she does hair, so a lot of times on Saturday she's working, so I'll have my son Abel, and I'll just have him hang out in the garage while I'm working out. But you get to see what they absorb. And so anytime I'm squatting, doing split squats, he'll do the squats. And so he'll do it, and he gets a hoot out of it, and he'll kind of do a quarter squat. And I'll say, hey, get your depth. And his next one, he'll go lower. And so I absolutely love it. A lot of people get a kick out of it.
Right.
Abel, get your squats in. Boom, down he goes.
So what's an ideal age for a teenager, or what age to start really lifting?
So here, obviously, I really get them when they're freshmen, or maybe in the 8th grade, gonna be freshmen. But I know there's a lot of misconceptions. We don't want to load the spine, and that's somewhat true. But the worst thing for kids is just poor movement. I think really any age they can start lifting. I'm not saying, hey, let's put a 5th grader on a back squat or anything like that. There has to be appropriate progressions and regressions. But I get kids, my son or daughter's in the 6th grade, 7th grade, they shouldn't be lifting. Why?
Right.
So, poor movement is bad.
Right.
So yes, if we cannot have quality movement, as a parent, you don't know what you're seeing. The trainer, whoever you got, doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah, it's not good. Just hang tight.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. But there's certainly nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, you got to. It's great when you see, I know my kids, 5th grade, 6th grade, just using the bar, and you're just getting the motion of doing a bench or doing an incline bench. You're teaching them the things that need to be done, but you have to have that knowledge. You can't just buy a bunch of weights, put them in your basement, and expect your kid to be a stud in the weight room. You have to get them on a plan where you've got to get them with some type of a structure, be it at Lifetime Fitness or be it at a gym or once they get to the school. One thing that's really good is Coach Schmiel, he has an exercise science class at the middle school. That is very, very good to get kids an introduction. And then when they come up here, I know the 8th graders like 6 months ago, when they come up here, they're just using the bar.
Yeah.
Because you're just teaching them techniques. And then you wake up a year and a half from now and they're putting up 225, then we can start worrying about it.
And I get that a lot, and I have to just constantly, let them know, hey, we are playing the long game here. Am I trying to make you as strong as possible in the next 6 months? No. I want you to be just complete dogs when you're juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
And the ones that can buy into that, they get towards the end of their sophomore year and they go, whoa.
Right.
I did the foundation really well. And look what's happened. And I tell the kids, old kids, young kids, it's not what we do, but how well we do it.
Let's not forget what your degree is in. What? Exercise science.
Exercise and sports science.
It's science, and there's a process to it. I mean, 30 years ago when I was in college, we did bench, squat, clean, and a bunch of varieties of everything else, and we ran an absolute ton. You probably did something similar to that, but now it's so different.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's wrong. There's a million ways to top of a mountain. And my thought process, has changed throughout the years. Like we talked about when I was playing at Oregon State, we were very Olympic lifts heavy, snatches and cleans. Every day we had some variation of that.
Yeah.
We still here even. We squat, we bench, we hinge. We'd still do all that. We're dealing with 14 to 18-year-old kids. They are still kids. And if you ask me what's the greatest exercise in the world, I'm going to say it's a power clean, without a doubt. Do we do power cleans here? No. The reason we don't do that stuff is just, one, I think their training age is too young. And I think the risk reward is just not worth it.
Yeah. And
I can still get the same adaptations that we get from a power clean with just our trap bar squat jumps, or even some of the females will have a 10-pound weight in each hand, weighted and loaded jumps. We get the same thing that we're looking for. We're looking for triple extension, explosion from the hips. Because I've done the power cleans at the high school level. You'll get 5 to maybe even a dozen kids that can get them decently well. But even then, they're probably not even hitting true triple extension, which is what you need.
Yeah.
How fast is the bar really moving? Probably not fast enough to get the adaptations that you think are coming from a power clean. So that's just my take. I know schools do it. Great. If you can do it well, awesome. But there's one of me, 80 kids on the football team.
Right.
I just don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, plus it helps me because I've been my old man strength. I keep telling my kids, I did 325 in power clean in college. And then on squat, I did 485 14 times. I blew a blood vessel, my eardrum blew for 2 weeks. And that's probably why I have 3 herniated discs. Yeah. So I'm like, you're not going to get to that strength until you get to college. Listen to Coach McGarity. He's doing it the right way because it is a science and it builds on itself.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying don't do them. I know other schools do them. Cool, awesome, great. This is my philosophy, how I think things should be done with the type of kids that we have. It's been working. I want to do as minimal dosage as we can, as simple as we can to get the training effects that we need.
Awesome. Well, you've got not that you need my permission, but you have full permission to crush Charlie DeWitt. Yep. Please break my kid and turn him into the man I know you will. Yeah. So let's take a little break. Let's enter Josh's smoking seat. Okay. I'm going to ask you 10 questions, just one off-the-cuff answers. Okay. Skyline or Gold Star?
Skyline, without a doubt.
LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan.
Did you stay on the Bengals bus for the 31 years and no playoff wins?
I'll say this, go Pack, go.
Oh.
I got all my family, they're from Wisconsin. My dad's parents and my grandparents, De Pere, which is about 20 minutes outside of Green Bay. Yeah. So I grew up a cheesehead, drove by Lambeau Field every Christmas when we go up there. So yeah, I'm a Packers fan. So I love Cincinnati, want them to do well, but I'm
just not against the Packers.
Yeah, yep.
Nice.
Which funny enough, me and my wife, 2019, Bengals went up to Green Bay to play, so I went up there, got tickets. First game, only game I've been up in Lambeau Field. Yeah. In September, I told my wife, hey, nights get cool even though we're still kind of in the summer, but just be ready for it to be cold. It is the warmest game in Lambeau Field history. Really? Is the game that we end up going to.
So you didn't get the? No, it's not the frozen tundra.
Yep.
So it wasn't the tundra. Is the hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
I say yes.
All right. What's your first concert?
I had already graduated high school. It was The Weekend. I was not a big concert person until I got a little bit older.
When you're making cereal, do you put the milk in the bowl first or the cereal first?
I listen to a couple of these podcasts and I hear there's a certain way, but it's cereal first.
All right.
I know you may disagree.
I'll disagree. Tiger or Nicholas?
Let's go Tiger Woods.
When you're making a peanut butter and jelly, do you put peanut butter on one piece of bread or both pieces of bread?
One piece, but you put the jelly on that first piece.
Oh wow! I'll have to try that. And then lastly, have you met or played with any famous athletes?
Yeah, a handful. So played with feel like I'm going to leave people out here. But like Mount Union days, Pierre Garcon, Cecil Shorts. He had some pretty good careers. Oregon State. Jacquizz Rodgers had a heck of a career in the NFL. I don't know. Jordan Poyer, he plays for the Bills right now. He's doing pretty good there. He's been a Pro Bowler. There's been a handful. As far as me staying on the Oregon State trail, Steven Jackson, I got to meet him. I know he's kind of a maybe Hall of Famer in the NFL. And so I've been blessed to be around a handful of pretty good athletes.
That's awesome. Great. All right, thanks for just having a little fun there. Yeah. So now let's talk about the actual strength and conditioning program goals. Do you have an overall goal for all the teams?
Goal, yes. So I don't have like numbers that we're looking for. My big thing when I got here and still is I want more of a unity and an overall standard for the athletics versus, hey, this is a football standard, this is a soccer standard, this is a volleyball standard. And it's kind of more of a philosophy to you as well. I want these kids to pursue success.
Okay.
What is success? I think famous coach John Wooden's got it down. It's the inner satisfaction and peace of mind that comes from knowing that you gave your very best in what you're capable of doing. So whether the kids are on their field or court, the weight room, school, being a son or daughter, brother or sister, is there doing their absolute best. Again, that's why I love the weight room. I think that sets the standard. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So that's kind of my vision and how I approach the strength conditioning thing. Now each sport's got their own goals, their own philosophies, and I am an extension of that sport, so I have to kind of tread lightly with that. I know sometimes that can be a bit abrasive, a bit intense for a lot of these athletes, some of these coaches as well. But that's kind of what I'm shooting for. As a goal, and every team's a little bit different. Some need a little more speed, if you will, strength, and I think that changes throughout the year, throughout the teams, and what we got. So that's the beauty of high school.
Yeah.
Strength conditioning.
Now, how different, like do pitchers bench? Do girls softball pitchers bench? I mean, you have to, from what I observe, you tailor this workouts to the team based on the season, where they are in the season.
Yeah. So as far as the movements that we do, there's not much of a difference between female-male sports and any other sports. We will go through the normal progression. So again, we'll use a press, for example. We push-ups. So as our freshmen get here, boys, they want to bench right away. Guess what? You're doing bodyweight push-ups. Until we can get those down, there's no reason for us to move on forward. Squatting, we're going to goblet squat first. If we can't do that, there's no point in adding the barbell. And he said that pitchers bench. Yes. My look on that, I know a lot of people say, well, dumbbells and the movement of the shoulder and the scapula. The way I look at it is, and from my experience, if we don't bench, guess what? They're going to bench when they go to Vibe Fitness, the Sporta, wherever. I'd rather bench when I'm watching them.
Okay, makes sense.
And so, and do I think it's bad if we do it incorrectly with poor movement? Yes, it's bad. Yeah. But if we do it the right way, no, in my opinion, I don't think so. And a lot of these kids, they play other sports as well. I think it's the best thing for putting on size and mass and overall strength for the upper body, which I think all the sports need.
Because I learned that my son in college, their quarterbacks don't even bench.
Yep,
they do.
And that's a big thing.
They do. I don't think they do kettle. They do dumbbells.
Yep,
because it helps build up the shoulder more so than getting the butt into it. And trying to
it's the big thing on the scapula. So especially when you bench press, your scapula are dug into that bench. They don't have that free range of motion, and so it's a big piece of it. Not saying that's wrong. Not saying my way's right. I just a lot of times these kids, they want to bench, they're gonna bench.
Right.
So I try to meet them halfway. Female athletes, first when I got in this was, they don't really care about benching, and we'll just do some dumbbell bench press push-ups. And I've given some teams some options on some days. Hey, do what you want, or you can do these variations. Like even the girls soccer, I think it was last week, I told them they can do either dumbbell bench press or flat barbell bench press. Every single one of them did flat bar.
Awesome.
Or flat bench, barbell bench press. And I remember going up to Coach Craig and he's like, man, look at this. I gave them the option. They're all benching. We got a bunch of meatheads in here. So
well, and it's the way women's sports has evolved. We're obviously seeing what a great move that was with our wrestling program and what they've done. And I know I've got a friend in college. His daughter's a national competitor in weightlifting, and even winning world championships. So there's no difference anymore between men and women. It's literally women's sports are awesome. So to see that they want to do flat bench,
it's great. It's great, and a lot of these females, they push it. I've had female athletes, they'll do a goblet split squat with 100s.
Yeah.
And they probably weigh 100 pounds. It's crazy to see that, and it gets me fired up.
So I'll put you on the spot. What are your favorite teams to coach?
So obviously I'm gravitated towards football, just being a football guy, but I think that changes a little bit year round and with each group. I love the off-season side of things. Obviously we can get in a little more intensity. Within season, we've got to be very strategic on how we do things, really monitor the volume and load. And so maybe things don't get as exciting per se. So it's easy to gravitate towards an off-season sport. So I can't really give you one or the other. One day it's girls soccer. The other day of all my sessions, it was our cheerleaders. They were in here. I had these girls split squatting 90 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's awesome. Absolutely love it. And so it kind of changes season to season and day to day.
Yeah.
But as long as the athletes are getting it, I get excited about that.
Well, it's got to be neat seeing, the strides that, say, a freshman girl cross country athlete, the strides that they make by the time they're seniors can be just as rewarding as watching our biggest offensive lineman put up 300.
And then that's kind of why I said my philosophy is as long as we are pursuing success, it doesn't matter if we're, squatting 365. That's cool. Awesome feat. But even, hey, I can only do the barbell on our front squat, but now I'm doing 10 on each side, 65. That is awesome progress. Like, we need to be fired up about that and praise that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Last fun question. How many will be in if you have to kill a hippopotamus, how many are without weapons, how many are going to be in your squad?
I want to get as many as I can. Do I have to have a certain limit?
No.
I'm knocking on everybody's door. Hey, we got to go kill this.
Yeah, it's a fun conversation.
I think so. What's a hippo weigh? Like
4,000 pounds.
2 ton.
6 centimeter thick skin.
Okay.
They run faster than we do.
Because you have to so you can't stab it with anything. So you have to drown it.
That's what I think. I think I need to get more people than what it weighs to get it to a body of water and then drown it.
You're gonna lose some people, whether it's the fear or the actual attack. So I think you gotta have average. Let's get a guy 200 pounds. I need 50. I need 50. 50 dogs.
Yep. But who's gonna go first? You've got I think you'd go first. I can see it in your enthusiasm, your smile. You're really thinking about this. You might just say, guys,
lead from the front, right?
Put me on a plaque.
Lead.
Remember me well. But no, it's a good conversation. Now Coach Sears had a great answer where he said he would outrun it until it got tired. But that's coming from.
I would say that's a cross country guy right there for you.
Exactly.
I'd say I can sprint, but after about 100 yards, I'm done.
He'd catch you at the 100-yard mark.
And I know they can sprint pretty good too.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks so much, Coach. Thanks for what you do for our schools, our athletes. It's great to see Loveland won the All Sports Trophy last year, and I really believe the core of that is the strength and conditioning. So let's keep it up. Really appreciate the time, and go Tigers.
Appreciate it. And if you can add this, I just want to give an appreciation and shout out to Rich Bryant for reaching out to me, with this position, and then as well Mike Broadwater and Dave Spencer, because being in the building during the day with my gig there is they took a leap of faith on that as well. So I really appreciate all three of those, and it's been an honor being here. I'm blessed and very thankful.
This episode is sponsored by Cappy's Wine and Spirits in downtown Loveland. Tap room, bottle shop, meeting place, great music, gift ideas, and just a traditional watering hole. This Friday, come hear a Loveland favorite, Low Country Boil. And Saturday, come all day to the Loveland Athletic Boosters fundraiser, have a few beers, listen to Jam Night Revival, and learn how you can get involved with either your time or assisting with financial contributions and becoming a member. Thanks, Coach McGarity, for spending the time training our student athletes the right way to compete on the court or the field and setting them up for success for the rest of their lives. We truly have a college-level strength coach here at Loveland High School. Please send any feedback or ideas to lovelandallsports@gmail.com. Peace.